Jake Tapper hosted Tim Kaine on his show and basically asked Tim Kaine, why is the Democratic Party a bunch of losers who are so wickedly unpopular? He, of course, was a lot nicer in that assumption, but he was basically like, hey, you guys have fallen off. You are the least popular you've been in like 3 decades. CNN's Jake Tapper confronted a Senate Democrat with a devastating new poll showing the party's dismal favorability rating. With the public in an interview on CNN's State of the Union Sunday, Jake Tapper showed Senator Tim Kaine data from the latest Quinnipiac poll published Wednesday, which found just 31% of Americans have a favorable view of the Democratic Party, while 57% have an unpopular view. Tapper asked, why is your party so staggeringly unpopular with the public? It's very simple. The Democrats are the party of corporations. Now, in American politics, we effectively have one corporate party with two slightly distinct wings. You have the one wing who wants to do war crimes, as that's the Republicans, and you have the left wing who wants gay people to do war crimes, which is the Democrats. The Democrats have no agenda to fix the current situation here in the United States. I mean this as a party, I'm not talking about Bernie Sanders is not included in this. None of the other progressive members of the Democratic Party who actually share Bernie Sanders' ideals are included in this, but it's the Democratic establishment. They fucked Bernie out of the presidential nomination twice. They went with Hillary Clinton in 2016, disaster. They went with Joe Biden in 2020, started out fine, ultimately turned into a disaster. Kaine cited long-term trends to argue that his home state of Virginia has flipped from ruby red to reliably blue. Yeah, except for when they voted for a Republican governor. I would say that Virginia is more of a purple state. I don't think it's neither blue nor red. You have a Democratic senator, but a Republican governor. He then offered up a variation of James Carville's famous axiom, it's the economy, stupid, as a blueprint for the party. But it's not that. Because when the Democrats talk about the economy, they talk about unemployment. They talk about the fucking GDP growth. Bitch, no one gives a shit about the GDP growth when it's $8 for a dozen eggs. If the Democrats are serious about winning, which I know they're not, they would be on the offensive right now talking about what a disaster Donald Trump's administration is so far, how he's stripping civil liberties from virtually every marginalized group on the planet. They would mention how, for example, when he did the federal funding freeze that affected low-income earners, it affected seniors via Meals on Wheels, it affected WIC, which provides baby formula, but instead, Chuck Schumer went out and said that Republicans are literally, he said literally, defunding the police. That is not winning messaging. If the Democrats are serious about winning, it goes beyond the economy, stupid. It is a transformation of it is a populist transformation, stupid, that people want. People want Medicare for all. It polls overwhelmingly popularly. People want a higher minimum wage. People want more paid time off. You can go ahead and make colleges and universities free of tuition. These are winning issues. Quote, let's return to the bread and butter basics that people really want to focus on, Kaine said. And I think the Democrats can do well, especially when Donald Trump's tariffs are driving up their prices every day. Except the Democrats have a communication problem. They don't talk. They don't understand modern politics because they're all geriatric. They need to be in a nursing home, okay? A lot of the Democrats, it's time. It's time. You got to retire. Go down to Boca. Go to fucking Scottsdale, wherever the fuck old people hang out. Go down there, play backgammon, and just sit on the fucking beach drinking a mocktail or whatever. They're like a week behind on every major issue at a time when Donald Trump is doing multiple destructive things per day. They should have appointed AOC. I forget what committee it was, but to make her one of the highest ranking Democrats. And they elected to go with a 74-year-old with terminal cancer. Despite the fact that AOC has one of, if not the largest grassroots bases of support in the country, right up there with Bernie Sanders, the fact that she is young, she is okay on policy. I do think that she's fallen off a little bit in that regard. She's young, she's charismatic, she's articulate, she's well educated on all of the issues. She tweets and she gets remarkable engagement. Democrats don't want to do that. They want to run with fucking Chuck Schumer, and they ran with Nancy Pelosi until she was 97 years old. I don't even have to go any farther in this article, which I will, but the Democrats just simply don't care about working class people and working class issues anymore. We are so far beyond the days of the New Deal Democrat. We are so far removed from any semblance of progressivism. Even Lyndon B. Johnson was more left-leaning than like virtually every fucking major Democrat today. Barack Obama gave us a right-wing healthcare reform. Joe Biden, I will say, Joe Biden was pretty good for those first 2 years of his presidency, I must say. But they need to go beyond that. They need a serious progressive reform. Tapper responded by throwing cold water on the senator's claim about the current state of Democratic politics in Virginia. Quote, I don't want to get too in the weeds of Virginia politics, but your governor is a Republican, and he beat handily a former Democratic governor when he ran for that position by 1.8%, Kane said. Worth noting, this guy is comfortably saying that Virginia is reliably blue. Wow. This margin, this 1.8% margin, is larger than what Kamala Harris lost to Donald Trump by in the election. And since then, Democrats have basically resigned from any form of resistance or any contest, any refutal of Donald Trump, even though it is still very possible for them to just muck up everything he wants to do, considering the slim majority in the House, the slim majority in the Senate. Kane goes on, he says, the last two Republicans that won governorship in Virginia won by comfortable double digits. Our governor is a Republican. He ran during a very good year to be a Republican, and he barely won. Granted, also Glenn Youngkin is he's kind of a mid-Republican, to be honest. He's definitely like, actually, I don't even really know too much about him, but I do remember discourse around him being like, yeah, he's a freak, but he's not the freakiest. Which, I mean, he's still freaky, man. He's still freaky. Added Kane, the failed 2016. Damn, the failed 2016 Democratic vice presidential nominee. Quote, we have a governor's race this year in Virginia. We feel really, really good about our chances. I think the governor's race in Virginia in November 2025 will be the first bellwether test of a Democratic comeback. And I'm feeling really, really good about that right now. Yeah, but here's the thing about that. The Democrats are not going to win on their own merit. They're going to win on Republican incompetence. Much like we saw in the midterms. Republicans spent nearly all of their fucking time talking about trans people, an issue that really most people do not give a fuck about. The majority of Americans are largely agnostic towards trans people. And that is why it was more of a red puddle in 2022, because they come off as weird when they hyperfixate on on trans women competing in women's sports in high school. The fact that they're going to do penis inspection day, right? The fact that your child might go to school and be looked at by Jim Jordan. Democrats just don't They just don't put enough effort in. And I guarantee, I guarantee at some point we will begin to see more and more like actual progressive candidates winning state and local elections. And when it happens, the Democrats will not embrace this wing of the party because they have not yet embraced this wing of the party, and they never will because that wing is entirely misaligned with them. The Democrats are the party of quote unquote good billionaires, like what the fuck is his name? Ken Martin said. I don't even know if that's his name. He's the most forgettable guy ever. There's no such thing as a good billionaire, at least one that is heavily involved in politics. If the Democrats want to win, it's very simple. They don't need to put Bernie Sanders as the face of the party, but they need to put his ideas as their primary agenda. I would prefer to see Bernie be the Democrat going into 2028. I don't want Gavin Newsom. I don't want Pete Buttigieg. I don't want fucking Josh Shapiro. If you're not going to give me Bernie Sanders, give me Tim Walz, who's another guy who got absolutely fucking hornswoggled by the Democratic Party. They brought him on to be vice president. He started spitting about free lunch and talk about how Minnesota has the best healthcare in the country. And then what happened? He went to the debate and the moderators asked him about fucking Israel. Bro, fuck off. Fuck off. The homelessness count is up 18%. And you have a guy in Tim Walz who is looking to do actual fucking change in the country, and they just make him talk about foreign policy. Americans don't want any more of their tax dollars going to Israel. They want a higher minimum wage. They want healthcare reform. They want to stop getting fucked by their insurance company and their employer. They want time to be able to go out and enjoy things. They want stricter gun laws so they don't have to worry about their kid getting fucking murked at school. But no, the Democrats are going to sit in their fucking bubble, their billionaire-funded bubble, and then every time an election rolls around, they're like, oh, we underperformed. We don't know why. They're going to go back to the fucking drawing board, and there's going to be a picture of a fucking pig. God, man, they're so fucking useless. They're such a horrible fucking group of people. I hate the Democratic establishment so much. They always just choose to focus on the wrong fucking thing. It just gets so tiresome.